this plenary that has just passed, we adopted one opinion, and it relates to synthetic biology. There's major advances in synthetic biology, as many people would know. And a key question from the Commission is whether the existing guidance documents for risk assessment are sufficient and are appropriate given these changes. And that was the whole point of this opinion, was in the context of food and feed, whether these advances in synthetic biology are captured as part of the existing guidance documents in place. So there was a detailed discussion during the scientific committee meeting in terms of the work program, both work that we're currently doing, but also there's a lot of demands and requests for future work. And the work of the scientific committee is diverse, so partly it's answering questions from the Commission, partly it's developing guidance documents, and partly, as one example, it's also providing support to panels on specialist issues such as uncertainty or genotoxicity. As I mentioned, a lot of that work is ongoing, but we have these future demands. And we spent quite a lot of time talking about how best we prioritise. And that was partly informed by discussions from the Commission in terms of what is in the regulatory pipeline. A key topic which is really important and one that we'll need to tackle soon relates to a concept called essentially the biomarkers of effect. In chemical risk assessment, the focus is very much on adversity, but increasingly we have biomarkers of effect that occur before adversity occurs, and this is an issue that we need to tackle because it's central to our work in risk assessment. During this plenary meeting, there was a very detailed discussion on what is perhaps one of the greatest scientific tensions that we have within the scientific committee, and that is the issue of timeliness, doing things as quickly as our risk manager colleagues would hope, but doing them with very high levels of quality. And that's a very difficult circle to square. And we focused on two potential ways forward. The first one related to the fact that there's a lot of EU agencies doing relatively similar work, but in different regulatory contexts. And the opportunity to essentially co-create guidance documents across all of these agencies so that we're able to work much more closely together. And we use the word co-create very carefully, meaning that we're seeing collaboration from the very beginning and at all stages by all of the relevant agencies. The second area in terms of this issue of timeliness versus quality is looking at new technologies. And an area that EFSA has invested very heavily relates to artificial intelligence and the opportunity to use that methodology to help us with aspects of risk assessment. And one area that it could be particularly helpful, indeed is proving particularly helpful, is in the area of systematic literature review. That is essentially reviewing huge amounts of data, potentially 3,000-4,000 scientific articles. Can machine learning, can artificial intelligence help us to identify appropriate articles, or perhaps even potentially to extract relevant data? So these were two areas that we discussed in some considerable detail, and I think made some good progress during those discussions.